Welcome back. We're at a very intense moment in history. New risks and challenges and opportunities lie on the horizon, and understandably, there's a lot of fear going on right now because there's a lot of change, there's a lot of uncertainty. And with that, inevitably, it stirs up our fear. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a profound, basic human emotion designed to keep us safe, designed to keep us alive long enough to pass this whole humanity thing forward to the next generation. So, in this video, we're going to dig into fear. We're going to understand its high side and its low side, and I'm going to share some tools for how to work with it, how to make friends with it. Because the point is not to banish it entirely. The point is just to understand what it is. When you understand what it is, you'll have more freedom to live your own life. And that's what we're going for on this channel. It's not this concept of, oh, I'm going to be done. I'll never feel another emotion again. No. It's simply that any emotion that comes your way, any energy that comes your way, you'll know how to dance with it, to elevate it through the power of your own consciousness. Now, at the start of this video, I just want to offer a simple meditation to practice throughout, really to be with your fears and cultivate that sense of safety inside. So on the inhale, I just want you to imagine inhaling a sense of safety, inhaling a sense of it's okay. And on the exhale, comfort and relief. Spread that feeling of wellness just throughout the body. On the exhale, you might want to make a sigh, you might want to wiggle a little bit. That's all good. The purpose here that we're going after is just to release the latent tension that a lot of us are holding on to. Because we all know that fear is paralyzing, but few of us really grapple with how deep that paralysis can go. You'll find if you dig in with your fear, if you make friends with it, if you get to know it, if you heal it at the root, you'll find levels of freedom in your own being that were previously unimaginable. And we all need that right now because there's so much manipulation in this world. And the more fear we carry, the easier it is to push our buttons. If I'm just constantly afraid and all it takes is a little tap of manipulation to get me into fear, to get me into panic, to get me into, oh God, please help me, well, then I'm a whole lot more easy to manipulate. So the purpose of this video is to help us free ourselves from this fear, because that pattern of just being easily poked and prodded isn't serving anyone really anymore. We're at a time when humans should be thinking for ourselves, each one of us, and getting right with fear is one of the first steps to being able to do that. So let's dig in. Our culture doesn't really cover fear beyond saying, face your fears, power through. And that's fine, but a lot of us need a little bit more nuance. A lot of us need a little bit more detail, especially the thinking types like me. And so that's what I'm here for, is to try to bridge this gap. Because we all know that life begins at the edge of our comfort zone, but so few of us are really willing and able to see how far that can take us. Now, the high side of fear is pretty obvious. It's just to keep us safe. As we're growing up, it's important to learn the bounds of safety. Don't touch the stove. Really, no, don't touch the stove. Don't play in traffic. We set up these walls in our reality to keep us safe, and for good reason. The problem is that as we grow and expand, maybe those walls don't deserve to be there anymore. If we never push against the walls of our own comfort zone, we're never really going to expand. Sure, we can take our rut and we can make it more comfortable, we can put up some different posters, but fundamentally it's still going to be a rut. And so the purpose of getting close to fear is to understand the places that were keeping us safe before, but are no longer necessary now. So the low side of fear is when it cuts us off from our potential, when it becomes a chronic fear, not a situational fear that's actually keeping us safe. It's a chronic fear. It's everywhere. It's everything. I'm pattern matching all the painful experiences and memories of the past against my current experience to try to prevent it from happening again. But what if what happened in the past isn't all that scary to begin with? What if what happened in the past isn't all that likely to replicate itself now? What then? Do you still want to spend 90% of your energy avoiding that and staying within those bounds? No, chances are you want to open your horizons, you want to expand, you want to go for more, as human beings naturally do. Remember, we're tool builders. We're using our imagination, we're using our desire, we're using our critical thinking to invent something new to change our experience in physical reality. We've been doing that since the beginning, and it's no different now. We're just using different tools. We're just using it in a different context. And so what we can do with that fear is not to extend it forever, but to transmute it. To transmute that fear, that chronic ambivalence of like, ooh, that sounds good, but my mind always has fears, is to take that ambivalence and break it down into nuance and into significance. Nuance so that I have room for all the details, and significance so that I'm empowered enough to choose what's important to me and to decide what's important in the moment. It's not saying do this technique and you'll never have a fear again. It's saying if you understand what fear is, why your own system is giving it to you, you'll have a better chance at succeeding. You'll have a better chance of thriving. You'll have a better chance at having fun and living with an open heart. I think we all want that. Now the challenge is that the negative ego is in the mix. And what the negative ego does is it either gets you to jump too soon or not at all. Too soon, you're not acknowledging your fears, you're not grappling with them, you're not preparing for them. And so maybe you fail. And then if you don't jump at all, well, you're going to miss your opportunity. Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So as usual, it's in the sweet spot. It's in the paradox between the two extremes. It's up to you in the moment to decide what's right for yourself. I know that might be frustrating to hear, but it's the truth. I can't give it to you any other way. It's your life, it's your reality. What are you going to do with it? And for me, I just find when I'm coming from a deep place with each thought, feeling, decision, and choice, it seems to work out better. That's the common denominator across my experience. When I'm coming from a deep place inside, things usually go better than when I'm totally lost in fear or self-righteousness or anger or anything else. And fear is similar to anger in this way. You just want to acknowledge it. You don't want to let it build up. You don't want to repress the fear and just have all this unresolved anxiety in your system like a lot of people do. And similarly, you don't want to just blindly acknowledge the fear again and again and again and never change. In between these two extremes, life flows. Fear, just like any other emotion, is giving us valuable feedback. And just like with any other emotion, we are the ones to interpret that feedback, remember our own values, remember the future and integrity that we strive for, and then act from a place of freedom. Fear isn't a deal breaker. It's a comma, it's not a period. It's a sign to keep going. There's so much subtle spiritual bypassing that happens around fear. Because one way out of fear, the easy way out of fear, is to just let it diminish our significance. But again, you need significance as a way to get out of the chronic ambivalence that comes as a result of fear. So make your emotions your friend. Make your feelings your friend. Make the depth of your own being your friend so that you can engage more deeply with life around you. So what all of these insights have in common is that fear is worth investigating. It's worth becoming friends with. Because if we never investigate our fears, if we never dig in and experiencing them, they'll just control us from the shadows. They'll just keep us small. And it's just a matter of time until all of us get tired of operating within these self-imposed limitations. It's like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore? That wall that I was bumping up against isn't as solid as I once imagined? Awesome! And that's why I'm sharing this about fear, because once you're willing to risk a little discomfort, once you're willing to go for more intimacy, to take more responsibility for your emotions, and to go for a brighter future, then so much can open up from that point. So after hearing all of this, I hope you recognize how making friends with fear can change your whole life. In the next video, I'm going to provide some meditations for working with fear at a very practical, deep level. And once you go through that, once you free yourself in that way, I think you'll like what you find on the other side. Because in my experience, it's an enormous amount of freedom. It's an enormous amount of fun. And yeah, I still have fear to release. But I know that what I've released, what I've processed thus far, has only helped me. It hasn't gotten any worse. It's not like looking at fear makes it more likely to come to pass. If anything, I think it makes it less likely to come to pass. which is something we'll cover in the next video. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Putting these tools out because I know they work, I know they're deep, I know they're effective, and I hope you enjoy. And I'll see you in the next video.